Hello there, and welcome to Pest Perspectives number 48, the first one of the year. So, happy New Year to everyone! And if you're tuning into Pest Perspectives for the first time, Pest Perspectives is a podcast where we try and entertain and educate at the same time. It's all to do with the pest control industry and relating things to business. It's all tied into being a pest control technician and running a business as well. So we try and get on a variety of different guests. Today's guest is somebody that I haven't actually had anyone on that's got expertise like this before. So this week, for the first podcast of this year, we're a year old now. A year old. We have Gabe Bustos from. Hold on a minute. It's kind of on the screen. There we go. Gabe Bustos, co-founder of Hector Home Service Marketing. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Shaun. Thanks for having me. Congrats on a year, and I'm honored to be the first guest of 2026.
Oh, cheers. No, it's thanks for because Gabe's one of the people that emailed me to ask to come on. I do get a lot of people email me, but they don't all fit. And I thought you had a fit. You did, because obviously with your marketing experience and what you do as a job, it does relate. Because I'll be honest, I've been to a lot of pest control shows, where it's like workshops, and unless it's just a nervous thing, a lot of people they actually said, "Who has Google My Business?" And I think 5 people understood what it meant, and I put my hand up. And actually, just they didn't want to put their hand up. Maybe it was that. But there's a lot of things that people could learn. So, how did you get into the marketing side of the business? As in, is it something you just worked out over years of experience and set it yourself, or was it? How did you get into it all to start with?
Yeah, no, totally. Appreciate the question. Yeah, so I've been an entrepreneur now for about 15 years.
Okay.
And for the first 10, which was the first 10 years of my career,
Yeah.
I was, founded and was a key part of 4 different businesses of different kinds. And they all, we cared so much about providing a great service, right? Which I'm sure a lot of our audience can relate to.
Yeah.
And they all didn't work out because they didn't focus on the marketing, and we never found somebody that we trusted. We didn't know it ourselves, right? So we could provide a great service, but we couldn't consistently get people to find us. So and it was hard to find people. Like, we tried to hire people and it didn't work out. Not to say they don't exist, but we didn't find the right ones. And then after, 4 times going at it and failing as a business owner, I said enough. So I got into learning marketing myself. Okay. And then about 2 years into that journey, I was doing marketing for, all different industries, whoever would hire us. And that was a mess. So we were trying to make everybody, trying to do everything for everybody. And we were like, nah. And we had some success with home services. Okay. So we were like, let's just say no to everyone else and focus in.
Oh, nice. That is, because it is a minefield. Obviously, it changes from week to week, day to day, and a lot of this stuff. No one really knows the algorithm. They'll tell you, but I don't believe anyone who fully knows it. You can try your best, can't you? No one knows it. You keep changing it, but
totally
a lot is one of them things. But so obviously you wanted to come on to offer some insights into what you do. So what would you say is? I'm going off some questions and topics you provided because they seem fitting. What is the most important to your audience? What did you mean with that? As in,
I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you what was most important to your audience of, related to marketing, kind of where, different businesses of different sizes have different challenges with marketing, right? So
I think generally it's a lot of people don't understand how a lot of them don't understand how to get work as such, because obviously you've got Google Click, haven't you, where you click your pay-per-click. You've got Google Guaranteed, and you've got like social media, just cover the whole length and breadth of it. Because I know it's changing, and it is about Google search still. That's the main thing. But I do know, and I've tested recently on all the AI apps, that my business is ranking in my area on AI, that's the thing now. ChatGPT, you got to try and get all your services to show up in AI, because a lot of people now are just asking AI. So, e.g., I live in Oakham, Rutland, UK. What's a good pest control company? And it will tell you. But that's probably going to frighten the hell out of people. That will, because it's not like Google search.
Yeah, well, one thing that I had written on here, right, is, you and I had talked about this, and we get this question a lot, is how is AI changing search marketing and whatnot, right? So I'll talk about search specifically. When I talk about search, I'm talking about, you said it, I'm talking about Google, and I'm talking about AI search when people ask for recommendations, right? And while AI is obviously having a big impact, it hasn't really changed the fundamentals of so the same things that, like, if you do the same things to rank at the top of like Google Maps, like you're talking about, your local SEO, right? Yeah. If you're doing it right, you'll also be ranking in AI, right? I mean, there's some technical differences and whatnot, right? But like fundamentally, it hasn't really changed that much in terms of what to focus on, right? Yeah. What has changed is like the speed and the volume, right? So whereas, like, let's say, creating content for your website is a big part of SEO and search marketing, right? Whereas before, maybe you needed to do 2 pieces of content a month, and now you have to do 4, right? But the AI tools allow you to do 4, you know what I mean, if you're using them right. So it's kind of like it's sped things up, you know what I mean? It's kind of raised the stakes a little bit, but kind of when you look under the hood, the fundamentals haven't changed all that much. I would say the other key component that is big, which again, it's not really a change, it's just a doubling down, but like in the age of AI, reputation, authenticity, trust is more important than ever, right? Because now people know that you can just like make stuff up and make up videos and things, but you can't make up like getting on screen at your job, being a real person on screen and just telling your story on the, you know what I mean? So can't make up Google reviews, right? Google reviews are as important as ever. People see, oh, somebody else is saying that about them, I trust that, right? So a lot of the fundamentals haven't really changed, right? It's just kind of the volume of things have turned up and the speed of things have turned up.
Okay. Because even in, correct me if I'm wrong, even in a normal Google search and most searches, even in normal, I believe AI is running it anyway now. I might be wrong.
But it's not as common in local searches, right? So if you're looking for a pest control company in Oakham or, a pest control company near me, a lot of times the AI overview in Google does not show up there. It shows you the Google guaranteed ads. It shows you the pay-per-click ads, and then it'll show you the maps, the Google Maps, where people see your reviews. And that's really where you want to be, because whether people find you on social media or they find you through an ad, most people are going to go to that reviews section to at least check your reviews, who's got good reviews, right? So for local search, the AI overview is really not as common as it is for most other kinds of searches.
Yeah, no, you are right. Because I obviously test mine because we use, I don't know if it's still called Google Guarantee, but we use Google Go. Well, where the customer clicks it and it rings you, and it says Google first, then connects that. But you are right. It doesn't, AI doesn't show up there.
Exactly.
But in other parts, it does as such. Well, obviously reviews. Oh, I wish they'd just be nicer. They would, because I built my reviews up to 87 now from the previous year, because I got loads of reviews and Google wiped loads off. They did. And back up to 80s. And it's not easy to get people to actually leave a review, even if they're happy.
Totally.
Doesn't take very long to do one.
Totally.
And obviously, you can't I don't think you're supposed to incentivize people because there's laws on that kind of stuff. There is.
Totally.
You know?
Totally.
It's like paying for a review, isn't it? It is.
Totally.
We get enough. I think I'm the highest in my local area currently by 7.
Amazing. That's
by
huge.
7.
Yeah, that's huge. It's one of the biggest pieces for, and again, this plays into AI recommendations, right? Like your reviews, Google reviews specifically, are one of the biggest pieces that's going to get not only Google to recommend you when somebody searches for your service in your area, but also ChatGPT, Gemini, they look at that, and that's one of the biggest things they use to recommend who to call.
That's good, because it's that part of the trust and authority.
Exactly. Yeah, and so I always tell people the Google Maps, right, is like a billboard, right? It's it's just visibility, but it's a billboard where it's better than a billboard because it's billboard like in front of people when they're searching for your service, right?
Yeah.
And same thing with an AI recommendation. Every time ChatGPT recommends you to somebody, that's way more valuable because they're recommending it in the moment that somebody is looking for your service, right?
Yeah.
So reviews are big. That's definitely for sure. And then another thing that's kind of been interesting about how AI has, changed things is it's almost been this kind of horseshoe effect where before, having a bunch of website content, blogs and pages on your website and whatnot was important in the early days of SEO. And then it started to become a little bit less important because people weren't really reading blogs anymore. They were watching videos and things like that, right?
Yeah.
And now it's becoming important again because even if humans don't read, the tons of pages and blogs that you put on your website, these AI tools, when somebody asks ChatGPT, can you recommend me a pest control company? The AI tool is definitely reading every word on your website. You know what I mean? So it's weird because it's and that's part of the thing that's hard about doing, marketing, especially through the algorithms, is you have to both speak to the algorithms who are recommending you and getting you in front of people. And of course, also the people who are actually reading your stuff and, have their phone in their hand.
Yeah, it's because obviously we've got a new website. I start to do blogs, and obviously you have to do a lot of messing around with SEO.
Yeah. And
the way they want you to make it sound isn't always what you think reads the best. It's this would sound better.
Totally.
Rather, it's the 5 top ways, and I think you got to put a number in it and get your SEO math score up and things like that. And
exactly,
it's not easy, but ChatGPT can help with things like that.
It definitely can help. Can help. And and then one other thing that's important, that this is a common misconception, is a lot of people focus too much on blogs, and a lot of times when you think about a blog, it's a general topic. It's not specific to a certain area. So it'll be should I use heat or chemicals to kill bed bugs, right?
Yeah.
People searching for that are searching from all over the UK, all over, the US. It's not they're not in Oakham, they're not in your, versus getting in front of people who are searching for, termite control in my city, right?
Yeah.
So creating content on your website is as important as ever, but we always recommend people to focus on creating content that's going after searches for your services in your area, right?
They just start changing things then, obviously.
Right. We see it all the time where we'll meet a new business and they'll be getting lots of traffic to their website, but that traffic's not actually turning into leads because most of that traffic is coming from people all around the country that are not actually their people, in their area. So that's an important, thing that's good to remember.
Yeah, please.
If you have an agency or a marketing professional working with you, you always want to prioritize local searches for your service over general informational searches about your service. You know what I mean?
I obviously do get in the blogs and stuff. I do put search terms, as in I do mention local areas within the post, but I think they're aiming for your title should have the town in it as well. I might be wrong. I'm not putting that in, so I've got to put that in.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then sometimes isn't it like rinse and repeat? Because you could have, if you've got to do that, you might have to make 6 different versions of it.
You're exactly right.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You're exactly right. And like, that's what we often do is like for the first, 6 months of working with somebody, we'll end up creating 10 different versions of their termite page because it's all targeting different searches in different areas. Now you can't just like copy it. You can't just like copy the page and like change out the location. Like Google's smart enough and AI is smart enough to recognize duplicate content, right? And they'll penalize you for that. Okay. So you do end up having to, rewrite a lot of it. Of course, AI tools can help you do that. Yeah. But, you have to get new images, you have to write new content, right? It's very similar, but it can't be identical. Otherwise, they'll penalize you for that. Okay.
That's another good tip, that is, because now I've got some jobs to do. I have. But it's just a couple of people in chat. Thanks to Jason from Pest Control for popping in, and Graham on LinkedIn. Thanks for popping in. Kurt, sorry. But we have got a couple of listeners, watchers, or whatever. But that's a good roundup on AI. You just basically got to do a mix of everything, basically. Because I get a lot of success on not website related, but over the past year or two, I've built up a bit of a following on Nextdoor. Oh, I've actually been called a Nextdoor celebrity to customers. I've turned up because I post under my personal name, but I have to link to the company, and then I have got tons. I've never paid for an advert on there, but I've built up a lot of. I do personal branding here on LinkedIn, etc. But I've done that, and it's not always sales focused. And then that kind of works. I'm not saying it's 100%, but definitely in the WASP season, it gets me some work. Definitely, it does.
Awesome. Yeah. I don't have first-hand experience with Nextdoor, but it's something that has been on our radar for a little bit.
Well, some people have good experience. Some people have total bad experience.
Okay, got it.
I've had good experience with it so far.
That's great.
I haven't had no one calling me all sorts. Apparently, that's what a lot of people say. Oh, it's so toxic. Right. But I don't react to people like that. Like when someone replies, often I kill them with kindness. Right. It's like there's a chap who tells me off every year for killing wasps. And they always say, I'm only doing it for public health to keep people safe. They've called me out. And I always thank him. But every time he does, I love it because the views on the post rocket right up. They do. But I know how to react to people. I know when someone's after the ones I wear and know they really want to fight, I don't reply.
Right.
I don't. I can tell, but I've learned that over time.
Right.
I have. But Nextdoor was probably on your radar, but it's probably not a big thing. It works or it don't. It's
harder to. I know that's the thing about Google that and search, like AI search, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing that replaces getting your name and your reviews in front of people when in the moment that they are searching for your services. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why we just double down on Google and AI search, because it's just predictable and it works, and you can really focus in on where, you can see where the search traffic is. You can see how many people in Oakham are searching for termites versus rodents versus, the town next to Oakham.
One thing, I know it's an example, but it'd be a miracle. We don't have termites here.
Oh, wow.
No, we don't have termites. We most of our buildings are all made with brick too.
Oh, wow, that's great. Termites are awful. They're just awful.
I know I've had loads of people on the podcast because obviously, if you see, I do have people from America and people from all over the world watch. Yeah. I do, but they can't get over it. We haven't got termites.
That's great. Termites are a nightmare, man. Like it
Well,
causes people. I mean,
I've seen it.
Yeah, 50 grand in renovations and repairs because of termites. You know, like it's crazy.
It is. Well, I bet it's big business when it comes to SEO marketing and stuff, I imagine.
Yeah, termites and bed bugs. Yeah, bed bugs are a big thing here too. You know, people pay a lot of money.
Now we have bed bugs.
Right.
It's not an area I seem to get a lot of call, but there are a lot of people that get a lot of work. Kurt, when you're watching, he gets a lot of work in it.
Yeah.
He does heat treatments as well. But even with bed bugs, we mainly do rats, mice, things like that, but we don't seem to get a lot of work for bed bugs. But they are here, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, another thing that could be helpful. So, you know, you had mentioned the Google guaranteed, right? And now it's called local services ads, right?
That's probably it then. Yeah.
So to anybody listening, when you do a local search on Google, like if you can test it with any local service, it could be dentist, right, in your area, any local business search to an area, right? You're usually not going to see AI overviews. You're going to see 4 sections. The first section is the Google guaranteed local service ads. The second section is the pay-per-click ads. The third section is the Google Maps, where it shows you the people's reviews and whatnot. And then the fourth section is all the websites, the organic listings, right? And I thought it could be helpful, Shaun. We're working with a couple pest control companies right now. One of them, we're doing all, local service ads, pay-per-click, and local SEO. Yeah. And I can just go through like kind of what the cost per lead on each one of a real example.
If you're allowed to, that's fine.
Oh, I'm not going to say their name, but they're a pest control. They're a real company, obviously. Yeah. In Pennsylvania, in the United States, and family-owned business, right? And so, anyways, they're currently running the local service ads, the Google guaranteed, and they're getting they're getting leads at about $45 US a month. Not a month, a lead. Sorry, a lead. They're getting so in October they got 53 leads. This is when I last pulled this data. They got 53 leads at $45 a piece. Okay, that's from that local services ads.
Okay, that's cool. Wow. Okay.
Yep. This company actually also focuses on a lot of bed bug work and heat treatment. To somebody you said was listening. Yeah. And so they have us do PPC, the pay-per-click for bed bugs, their bed bug service. It's a bit more expensive because bed bug leads are more expensive. They're higher value jobs. So we're currently getting them bed bug leads at about $110 a lead. Okay. So about, a little more than twice the price.
Did I ask you something about that in general? If you were a competitor, not saying I've ever done it, but can you actually click your competitors off by just keep clicking, or does it not work?
Yeah.
Does AI detect someone's messing around?
Yeah.
I just wondered. I've heard about it.
No, it's definitely a thing. One of this client actually, we had to deal with that. I don't know, halfway through last year, and. Yeah, no, there are tools where I don't know if it's native to Google. I don't know if Google does it unless you do something about it. Okay. We had to install a tool, like a software tool on their website that essentially tells when that's happening. So it'll tell if somebody from the same IP address keeps clicking an ad, right? Or it'll, there's different things it does to block spam and to block attacks like that. It's called click cease, to cease clicking. It's called click cease. That's what we had to install for them.
Okay.
And yet that's what stopped that.
That's good then. Sorry, carry on. I just thought I'd ask, that was all.
No, it's true. It was actually a learning curve because they were getting a lot of spam and this kind of competitor attacks. And so there were a couple months there where we were we got to figure this out fast, anyways, and then they do local SEO, right? So when people find them just organically, not paying to be at the top, right? Yeah. And they got in the couple months, we still work with them, but I just pulled this data a few months ago. So in the month that we did this, it was $35. They got 62 leads for $35 a lead, right? So with organic, as I'm sure many folks know, it takes time to kind of build up to get up to the top of the rankings. But then once you're there, you're not paying for each of those leads, directly, like the same way you do from an ad or whatnot. So the local service ads, the Google guaranteed, has its pros and cons. The pay-per-click as a marketing strategy has its pros and cons, and the organic SEO has its pros and cons. And really, they're useful in different situations. But the organic piece, if you really have it doesn't even take that long if you do it right, but it might take 3 to 6 months to get to the top, a little bit of an investment, but then you can see they're getting leads for $35 a piece as opposed to $45 or $100 a piece. It depends on with ads, certain services are more expensive than others. Right. But, just to share, what's possible out there.
No, that's good. Obviously, I imagine Google knows how lucrative each service is, and they charge accordingly. Exactly. I imagine.
Exactly. I feel like roofing clicks are super expensive. You know what I mean?
No, that's shared some good data there. You have.
Yeah. And then there's pros and cons to each. I'm happy to go through that. I'm happy to go through what you think would be most valuable for folks.
Obviously, there are a few people that asked me. I've had a few people on my last podcast last year. Someone asking, it was about Google. I keep calling it Google Local then, and Google Clicks, and I recommended Google Local, the one that you used to call. But I said, I'm not an expert, but I said I know one thing, that if you do pay per click, you will get work, but you need to know that you will be paying for it as well.
It's expensive.
Yeah. So I said that's your risk. It says, but that's business.
Well, and I also always recommend people to start with the local service ads that Google guaranteed, because with pay-per-click, it sits in the name. You pay per click. So you could have 20 people that click your ad and not a single one turns into a phone call. You know what I mean? If they're not the right people, or your messaging is not right. With the local service ads, it's pay per lead. So the one you're talking about, the Google guaranteed, right? Yeah. You only pay, and you said you have experience with this, right? So you only pay when your phone actually rings and when Google's system detects that it's actually a real lead and not just spam or solicitation, right? So it's a really good starting point for two reasons. One, it's low risk, right? It's pay per lead, meaning that, again, you're not going to waste money because you only pay when you actually get real leads. And two, it's not that hard to set up. Like, you've done it, right? Like, you have to upload some documents and you have to prove your.
It's not it is now, because we've been established over 15 years. You see, So, but I do know people that I don't know if it's the same in America, but there are people that are having to get their mobile phone, and actually, obviously, a lot of these people, as sole traders, they do it from their home. They're having to make a video of them at their house walking down the street to the street sign to prove that they live there. And I've had a lot of people telling me about that. I'm having to make a video to prove that's where they actually live, and they're actually on the street. And that wasn't a thing when we first started doing it.
Totally. And that's it's similar, right? That is for having a Google business profile, like a verified address, which is also really important. I mean, it's really important. So you're right. Like, in order to have like a verified address for your Google business profile, which is very important. Now they make you take a video and, show your signage and show where your mail comes in and things like that. And it's to prevent people, from the consumer end, like, to prevent people that are fake or, aren't actually who they say they are.
No, I totally understand it. Just I've heard it from a lot of people.
I know
they weren't happy. I thought, look a video, walk down the street.
I know. But from before we switched to doing home services, we were working with a bunch of local businesses, and one of our clients then was a co-working space, like a WeWork, kind of like, wasn't WeWork, but like that. And they had, so they had people that had offices there, 20 some businesses that had offices there, and they all wanted to like get verified their address at the co-working space.
Oh no.
And it was a whole mess that they had. Exactly what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Doing the video and making sure the signage is right here and making sure they show the mail here and their logo is there. And it's like, it was this whole big mess of trying to get people verified at this co-working space that we had to help them with.
Did it work in the end?
For some of them. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. But for Google, that Google business profile piece is super important. You don't necessarily need to have a verified address. You can have a service area business, right? So like, you know what I'm talking about? You can work out of your house. You can have a Google business profile and still get reviews and all that, and have it, rather than it shows your address, have it be like a service area. It doesn't work as well, but it's still way better than not having a profile at all. So that's actually the first thing I always tell people to start with. And you don't have to hire anybody to do that, is to complete your Google business profile, right? And you mentioned this earlier, right? You can use tools like ChatGPT or Gemini to help you write the content for it so that you've got some of those key phrases in there, right? Like if you're trying to focus on rodents in Oakham, as you're filling out your Google business profile, you want to make sure that you're including those phrases in there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't actually used it for the Google business profile. I've used it for the website, but obviously you've got to adjust to make sure that information is correct, because it can mess up. It can mess up. You've got to make sure that long line isn't in there, because that's how a lot of people can tell. That long line. Yeah. Hashes.
Yeah, for sure. No, I know. Yeah. Every time I'm writing with AI, I'm like, literally every single time I specify like no hyphens, no dashes. And like, if I don't do it once, it gives me the freaking dashes. It's like every time I'm like, no, you just have to keep reminding it.
Yeah, I hasn't given mine in a while, but just got to keep playing with it.
Yeah.
That you have, really.
But so those are the three, so filling out your Google business profile and putting keywords in it, right, for your area, your services in your area. Super important. Number 2, getting 5-star reviews. We talked about that, right?
Yeah.
Super, super important. Number 3 is setting up the local service ads. And for each of those 3 things, you don't need to hire anybody to help you with that stuff, right? Like for all 3, getting reviews is a pain in the butt and it's hard in its own way. But even if you were to hire somebody, like they can't really do that for you anyways. I mean, they can set up text messages that go out, but that doesn't replace like the technician being in the home, doing a good service, getting the review before they leave the house,
Oh no, it's definitely true. We get emails every day saying, I can get your reviews. I'm like, don't want your reviews, thanks.
Exactly.
Hard enough to be on Google without someone offering to fake review you.
Oh, I know.
They annoy me.
I know.
Don't reply to most. It's hard enough as it is.
When we work with people or deciding whether or not we want to work with people, it's like that's one of the biggest things we look for is like, do they have good reviews? Because we can't fudge that for you. And if you don't have good reviews or you can't get good reviews, even if you bring us on to do our work, it's still not going to be enough to beat your competition because the reviews are such a big piece,
Oh no, they definitely are. Because I didn't realize until I always asked a lot of them, how did you find us? And a lot of them, they say Google reviews.
Right.
I read your Google reviews. Because now on our website, we've got them on the website now. All the latest top ones, they all roll through.
Exactly.
Some plugin or whatever it is. But they are quite important. I know a lot of people that don't have many Google reviews and they're well busy, but it's how it is, isn't it?
For sure. And they probably get a lot of their business through referrals and word of mouth and repeat business. I mean, how do they get business?
I actually got a friend who's been on the podcast. I shout him out, Sam Tricky, and he does mainly just farm work. He doesn't even have a website, but he's got that much work. It's unreal. But he hasn't actually got a website or a presence.
How's he get leads?
Farmers, because he works for farms.
Right.
All the farmers recommend him, and he's honestly got that much work.
That's awesome. That's the power of specializing. That's a testament to the power of specializing.
So I said to him, I says, you've done well. It says, we're in 2020, last year, we're in 2025, and you haven't got a website. Well, bloody done. And he went, are you taking the mickey? I says, well, not really. I says, it's unheard of. Most people have a website, but no, he's a good lad. I get on with him really well. But he's in farming mainly, so he does all right. He does.
Well, that's the power. I mentioned that up front. Is like even for our business, when we were working with everybody, it was hard going. And once we decided to just start focusing on one type of business, everything got so much easier, and our results for people improved so much, because now, like, that guy's the expert on farms. He's the best at farms.
It's pest control. He's got like dogs and stuff as well.
Right. So it's like, of course you're going to hire him. Yeah.
But I said to him, he said, you're taking the mickey. I said, no, I'm really not. I said, you've got no marketing. You've got nothing to pay for. I said, it's great. It is. But it's quite unheard of, but it can happen.
Yeah. And like I said, I chalk that up to specializing, and not everybody wants to do that or right. But
I'm not into having loads of farm contracts. I can assure you.
Right.
I do too. And they're okay. They're not like farms you get muddy in, but also sorry there. Jason says, as pest control, he hasn't got a website. He mainly has word of mouth and the local trading standard site.
Cool.
So you can do it. You can.
Absolutely.
But obviously, Jason's been around a long time. He's got a reputation. I'd say if you're starting out, you'd struggle a bit. You would, to be fair.
Right. And really, like, when I think about what it makes for good marketing, or like what the result is, like, even before growth, it's really about predictability. You know what I mean? It's about, like, do you know you've got enough flow coming in each month, right, in order to make bets, in order to make decisions, in order to, and so if you've got that after being in the industry for a while and building up reputation, like, that counts. You know what I mean? But if you're new to the game, you need predictability. Right. Otherwise, you're going to get chewed. I mean, I've never run a pest control company, but I've run several companies before without that. And I got chewed up, and I burnt out.
That's fair. That is. Do you do anything with, do you deal in any social media aspects of the business or not?
We don't, just because, we just specialize in our lane. But I know people that run social media ads, like Facebook ads and Instagram ads, and find success with it. Generally you can get leads cheaper on social media. But the lead quality is not as good. You know what I mean? Cause you're interrupting, like, people are watching cat videos and then they see your ad, as opposed to searching for a pest control company. So it can work, you know what I mean? But, it's like, I know that it requires more resources from your sales team, or your, as a salesperson, because you've got to chase more leads. You've got to qualify more leads. You know what I mean? But if you're looking for volume, it's cheaper than Google. It's just at the end of the day, I don't think it's as efficient.
No, I mean, it works. Some people have major success.
Yeah.
Some people don't. It's not easy, because I don't know if you've ever heard of, I watch a lot of Gary V stuff. Heard of Gary V?
Of course.
And he said a lot of people give it a month and say, Gary V, you're wrong. He says, you've got to be doing it for years. You've got to know what you're doing.
Exactly.
You've got to,
Exactly.
I'm not telling you can be overnight success.
Totally.
Just get better, get good.
Yeah.
But, it's part of it. It's a brand. A lot of people do it for brand presence.
For branding.
That you're there.
For sure. Yeah. And what was I going to say about, you know what? I lost what I was going to say. It'll come back to me about social.
It's because he said that if you've got a good organic video that gets high reach, but then take that advert and put it into paid adverts. as it will work better.
Totally.
Rather than because he works with companies like Coca-Cola, etc.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
No, and Gary V's audience is different. It's huge and it's different than local pest control, family-run pest control business. Like
exactly.
But that like even for local services, right? Like we find that if you're in a really competitive area, right?
Yeah.
At least in the United States, there are some huge, I'm sure you have them too. There are some huge pest control companies, Terminix and Orkin and whatnot. Right. Yeah. And like, they do dominate some big markets, like in the big markets where they are, right. Because there's only a few spots at the top of Google, and it's going to be hard to beat Terminix. You know what I mean? In Google rankings. Yeah. So where social media can be good is if you're in a really saturated area and a really competitive area on Google, then you can look to social media ads to get leads, and it'll be a lot more affordable than trying to go up against these big budgets of Orkin and Terminix and whatnot.
Oh yeah, but some of the big boys are here. We've got Rent to Kill.
Right.
We haven't got Terminix anymore. Terminix were quite they were part of Rent a Kill, but
I thought they got acquired.
Yeah, but in America, but the UK mergers and acquisitions department were not happy, and they called it a monopoly.
Good. That's a good thing.
They made them sell it off. Another company bought them, and the name doesn't really exist anymore. Just they got sucked into another big company.
Right.
Basically.
Well, that's good.
I think Virgo bought them, and you don't see Terminix vans anywhere.
You guys don't have termites, and you have good antitrust laws. That's a good thing. I wish there was more of that here, honestly. But I say that about the big guys, and it's true, of course. And also,
know what they're doing, though. They know what they're doing.
And you'll be able to speak to this better than I can, honestly. Yeah. But there's so many customers out there that are looking for a family-owned. They're looking for like a neighbor, family-owned thing. Yeah. Like they'll scroll past Terminix and because they know that they're just going to number. They're just treated like a number. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, like one of our, in the pest control client I was sharing about earlier, the one in Pennsylvania here in the States. They've got Terminix and Orkin there, you know what I mean? And like they're not above them in terms of the rankings. They're right below them, but they're still getting lots of flow because people are, they want a local family-owned company, So
that's kind of I know there's a lot of family-owned ones out there. I know a lot of them have been bought up. I know that's a big thing in America.
Definitely.
But a lot of the big American companies have been coming here and trying to buy up firms here.
I bet.
As well. I bet. Because Orkin are here. But they're not under Orkin. They're like, they buy a company and it would say so-and-so company and it would say owned by Orkin.
Yeah.
It will.
Yeah.
But they are here. They're obviously, there must be some kind of money in it. But they are starting to buy them here as well. But,
I went to a pest control conference here once at the NPMA. Actually, I saw that you're involved with some pests. I forget what it was called, but
I'm a board member of the National Pest Technicians Association.
Okay, cool.
So it's kind of probably like that. I've had somebody on that is part of that as well. Cool. NPMA.
Well, I go to these events sometimes, here, and I remember hearing this guy speak, and he was talking about the reason why it's such a good business is because of the residual, the recurring. Yeah. If you get people on the quarterly contract and whatnot, right? There's a lot of predictability in it, as opposed to like doing kitchen remodels where you might get one big job this month, but next month, So
see, there lies the difference, Gabe. They're talking about residential quarterly contracts, homes, aren't they?
That was about residential. Yeah.
Yeah. That was my guess. So I'll tell you something now. That doesn't happen in the UK. People do not door knock saying, do you need pest control? we have a few quarterly contracts. That's people we've serviced, got rid of their issue, and have wanted to keep some monitoring stuff down for a period. But in America, it's every man for himself. It is when it comes to these areas, but it's not a thing you'll probably get told to where to go if you knocked on someone's door and said, "Do you need pest control?"
No. I mean,
you might get a slap on the face. So
door knocking is the worst. I mean,
it's massive in America.
It is, and it's super annoying. It's super annoying, and I don't think it works. I mean, some people make it work, but no, it's not what I recommend to people at all. But like a lot of times, people will call for a service, a one-time service, and then they'll turn them into a monthly visit or a quarterly visit. Well, usually quarterly, but but no, not door knocking. I hate door knocking.
And you knock on your door and you're like, I don't want to pay for you.
No.
Can I sort? Now you're like, I need pest control, but I could do you a favor.
Yeah.
Give me free pest control.
I know. Whenever I need work done on my house, I'm like, I'm doing research ahead of time. Who's coming over? And I'm like, they need some help. I can tell.
Yeah. Thanks, KKR Pest Away, for joining the chat. You'll find this episode quite interesting. I know you've joined a lot of way through, but if you watch this one, especially towards marketing, getting yourself out there, you really find the information valuable. This is the chap that was asking me about what to do. He's not been going very long. So you can roll back, and there's loads of information there for you.
Google profile, 5-star reviews, Google guaranteed, local service ads. Great place to start. Those three. Yeah. Great place to start. I think
exactly the one. But is there anything else you wanted to cover? You'll cover quite a bit.
Just, I guess just to go on that last bit, right? I talked about kind of the first 3 things to do if you're trying to get more visibility on Google and AI search, right? That's complete your Google business profile, get 5-star reviews, set up those local service ads, which are pay per lead, meaning that there's not much risk because you're only paying when you get leads. The other thing is that it only takes a couple hours to set up yourself. You don't need to hire an agency to do that for you, right? So you save money from not having to hire people, and you can still get leads through that local service, Google guaranteed, right? If you want to kick it up to the next level, right, then the next most important thing you can do is to get a website, a local, and to have it locally optimized. So to make sure that the information on your website is speaking to your services in your specific area, right?
Yeah.
And then you can look at doing like ongoing content, creating new web pages and blogs. And then the other big piece of SEO is it's called backlinks. So it's getting other websites that Google already trusts to link and reference your website. You could think of it like press, but for Google purposes. So anyways, those are more technical. Those are more advanced. They're more like ongoing services. That's to really grow, right?
Yeah.
But if you're in an area where it's not super, super competitive, you're not in the heart of London or something like that, and you've got a strong Google business profile that's filled out well and has some of your key phrases in there. You've got lots of great 5-star reviews. You've got local services ads running, and you've got a locally optimized website, right? Those 4 things are going to be they're going to get you off to a great start.
Yeah, no, cheers for that. I've got a question for you. So, do
Yeah.
Do you think it's worth me mentioning in my pest control business website about my podcast? Do you think it's worth doing? Putting it on in a blog, or do you think it's worth me mentioning it? I know it's an industry focused one, but someone told me that would make it would help or something. I don't know if
it would definitely help. Again, it would help like you mentioned this earlier, that trust and authority are a big thing that the algorithms look for when they're looking to recommend someone. And so if you've got, I wouldn't put it like front and center, but a page about it or a blog about it, even a page about it that you can link to is it would be good. And it would tell the algorithms, the search recommendation, that, your company is an expert in this industry, right? And and if you're like, another thing you can do is you can take the transcriptions from the podcast. You know what I mean? You can use AI to turn it into a transcript, and then you can put that into ChatGPT and say, can you just write a short little blog from this transcript and put that on your site? It's not going to tie directly to people searching for your service, because we're talking about all kinds of things, and we're not talking about Oakham right now, right?
Yeah.
But it is something to show Google and the algorithms that, like, you're an active business, you're constantly, putting out new content, you're an expert and a trusted authority in your industry. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's like the highest priority thing you could do, but given that you're already doing the podcast, I think it's worth adding onto the site.
All right, cheers. I'll do that, because someone told me it would help. But I'll do that. I will. Thanks.
Yeah. And then the other thing I would recommend, you may already do this, is in your descriptions of your podcast, like when they go out on Spotify and Apple and whatnot, to link to your website. Because again, that's another one of those signals when Google and search algorithms see that. That's another thing that they use to say, okay, like, this many different people and this many different authorities are linking to Oakham. They must have something going on. Let's look at them more. You know what I'm saying?
So would you say link that to the blog post on my Oakham Pest Control? I haven't actually got a Pest Perspectives website yet.
No, not a pest. Yeah, no, you don't have to link it to each blog post. Yeah. No, just in the description of your podcast, link to the Oakham Pest Control, at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I will try that then.
Yeah.
Because I have obviously linked. I've got the associations I'm with and the CPD bodies. I have backlinked to them.
That's good too. Yep.
I have as well. Yep.
It's funny how much, again, you think of Google as a recommendation machine, right? Think of ChatGPT, it's just a recommendation machine. And if you think about what they look for when recommending to people, it's similar to what people look for when recommending to other people, right? Trust, authority, reviews, reputation, authenticity. You know what I mean? Are you a leader in this industry? Yeah. So it's the fundamentals, haven't changed that much. It's really about trust and reputation, authority, right? Both for the algorithms, for the people. It's just the algorithms, there's a bit more of a technical. You got to do more technical stuff to do it, right? But at the end of the day, it's saying to them, like, look at all the different trust signals we've got, right? You should trust us.
Yeah, no, I've got some really good advice, to be honest. You've given some. Is there anything else you'd like to cover on this? Any kind of subjects? Or
I don't think so. I really appreciate you having me on.
No, it's been a long time in the making, because at first we were in contact, then I forgot to reply, then we got back, we sorted it, and I wasn't sure whether this podcast could happen. I don't mean today, I mean, because I normally I'm a lot more prepared. I don't normally put the event up on the day. I normally have it advertised, but that's my fault for not emailing you earlier.
Oh man, no worries. The end of the year. I always look forward to this new like the end of the year is always a million things going on, and I feel like by the end of January, it's still January, you're recovering and getting the new year set, but then by like February, March, things really start picking up and people lock in. So that's all good.
So if you wonder what that code is at the bottom, I've just put up people in the UK that do CPD, a scheme called the British Pest Register. So when the people go in and use that system, go to CPD training, click on this episode, and it will ask you like different codes. You need to type this one in, 2309, and you'll get it'll be 1 point. We're nearly at an hour. But it's all learning towards, helping people. I'll leave that up till the end. But yeah, so thanks for coming on. I will link you in your website in the description. It's on your LinkedIn, isn't it? your website.
It is. Yeah. Just
You're
Hector.
not you're not as active as I thought you'd be.
I know.
On LinkedIn, I was like, oh no, you did actually. You are.
I posted
4 hours ago. You did actually 4 hours ago.
Right.
Then it was 3 months ago. Come on, sort it out.
I know. I don't. We get most of our business from referrals and also SEO. People find us through, like, people call me through because the ChatGPT recommended us to them, right? So we get a lot of our business from SEO and.
No, I'll be honest though, if it works, it works. I mean, I've never got an ounce of work off LinkedIn, never.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
But it has got me contacts within the industry and really helped push this podcast, and so it has benefited me. Just not in the sense of pest control work, but in terms of the industry, it's massively benefited me.
It's a goal of mine this year to do more LinkedIn, just to at least start sharing a bit more and connecting a bit more on LinkedIn. But there's so many different things to do and so many different things competing for your attention. I'm trying to just focus in on a few things that I know will work best for me.
Exactly. But that's the right thing to do, that is. But no, sorry, I've got a cough. I've got a cold at the minute. But thanks for giving up your time on this Tuesday night.
Absolutely.
And thanks. And if you need to get hold of Gabe, I will put once it's up, I will change the description and put his website in and your contact details, and put a few more links in. Get it backlinked.
That's right.
I will. But please check out all the information inside tonight's podcast, because this was a new angle for the podcast. So
awesome.
Thanks for reaching out in the first place.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
So right.
All right. Yeah. Cheers, Shaun. Thanks everybody for listening.
Right, and thank you.
Okay. Take care, y'all.
Bye. Bye.